The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com and at amazon.com.
My father was an alcoholic. He'd come home hammered, looking to wail on somebody. So I'd provoke him so he wouldn't go after my mother and little brother. Interesting nights were when he wore his rings.
Yeah, he used to just put a wrench, a stick, and a belt on the table and just say choose.
And that may help the person that I spoke with earlier, dealing with helping a kid come out in the open. That's Robin Williams and Good Will Hunting, and the kid is opening up to Robin Williams about the abuse, and that's what can happen in therapy, where you can let go of some of that anger because you have a warm listening ear. Right before the break, we were talking with Michelle. Michelle?
Yes.
Yes, you said that you've been in a relationship with a guy who's sexy, good-hearted, he's sensitive, he's intelligent. You feel safe around him, you feel grounded, you feel complete, and you've been together for how long?
Well, and that's the thing. We were together. It was 2 years solid, and then 2 years where we were together and then apart. And then it's been a couple of months, and I'm like, I just wonder if he's with someone else, and if he's, does he really love me or what?
Okay, so right now, the roller coaster ride that you mentioned earlier, you're now separated.
Yes.
Okay, who initiated the separation?
His actions did, and then I kind of left, and then he left. It was weird. Okay, how old are you? 35.
35, and he's how old?
35.
And both married? Never any
married.
history? Never married?
No.
Okay, no children?
Nope.
Okay, that simplifies the picture a lot. Okay, what did he do then that made you say, ooh, I'm leaving?
I think he was seeing someone else.
Ooh, he deceived you?
Yes.
What's your evidence?
Oh, let's just say I found something.
Okay, and you're certain of it? You don't have to go through the details, but
yes,
you're
I'm
certain.
And I think he's seeing her now.
Okay, and is it someone that you know, like someone knows at work, or someone that he met at a bar or something?
I don't know. It's not at work, but I don't know where he met her.
Do you know her?
No.
Oh, you don't know her. Okay, so it's not like your best friend that he's cheating on you with. Okay, have you seen a picture of her?
Yes.
Okay, is that part of what you found?
Well, no, I actually saw her.
Oh, how did that come about?
Well, I was going over his house to drop something off for him, and I saw her in his driveway.
Okay. What did he say when you discovered the deceit?
He denied it.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, I had sent him an email finally because I just couldn't even talk to him. And I just sent him an email saying, I can't believe this. And his response was that I made assumptions and I was incorrect and wrong.
Okay, so he may be
lying.
So, pardon?
He said, you've made assumptions and accused me of lying when you were incorrect and wrong.
Okay. Is there any, I don't know your evidence, is there any possibility that that's the case, that you could be wrong?
No, because one of his friends pretty much confirmed it.
Spill the beans.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go back to 3 words that you used: safe, grounded, and complete with him. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was until this. And then, like when we were together and when this didn't happen, that's how I felt. And then so I guess it's really that I'm not that safe with him.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I don't know. I guess if he's gone elsewhere when I was in, going through one of the hardest things in my life, then I don't know what that really says. Either he just maybe doesn't really love me, or I don't know.
Okay, what was the hardest thing in your life?
My mom was sick and she passed away.
Okay, how long did that go on for?
She got sick last year and she passed in September of last year.
Were you close with her?
Yeah.
So this was very painful for you?
Yeah.
And how did that interfere with the relationship, or how did that dovetail with the relationship?
Well, what was horrible is that we were starting over, and then my mom was sick, and I guess I just became really insecure, and then I was emotional, and I wasn't as happy as I usually am, and so I guess that just affected it.
Okay, so if you're having some empathy for him, you're saying that, I can understand why his eyes may have turned elsewhere. He may have been having second thoughts about me because I was going through grief, and maybe he's never seen grief for someone that you really love. I mean, it's easy to grieve a parent that you can't stand. Many times it's good riddance. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it's less complicated. But if you really love the person and that person's out of your life, or you're losing them, it can be an exquisitely painful time. And you said you were insecure. Were you insecure about the relationship at that time?
About life in general. I was losing my mom, and I was really I didn't think she was going to go. I thought she was going to beat it, but just, talking to her every day and then everything else, and it made me start feeling insecure about me and
Okay, how about you? Tell me about you and your life.
Well, I was losing for me, I was losing a sense of, a support, a sense of comfort. If things weren't going right, I could call my mom. I could, always go home and get a hug, and that was going. And so I was having some huge issues with separation, and so I think I was I know I wasn't as happy, and I was somewhat depressed and emotional, and I think I might have been clinging a little bit.
Okay, to him.
Yes.
And how did he respond to that?
He was okay, and then I felt like, okay, my whole life was falling apart, so how could he, how could this be good? So I that's why I became insecure in the relationship, I think. It's because my whole life was falling apart, and here he was, and I was just like, well, is he going to leave me too? And so I guess I was like, yes, that's exactly how I was feeling. And I remember one night I opened up to him. I didn't really talk about it because I knew it's a very difficult thing, and I didn't know how he'd be able to deal with it. So I didn't talk about how I was feeling or anything about my mom. And one night I opened up to him about it a little bit, and he just tossed and turned all night long. And I was like, oh, my God, he's leaving. Mm-hmm. And I really feel that's what happened.
Okay, do you think it scared him, like he would need to make a commitment to you, or he was in deeper than he was ready? He wasn't ready for marriage at that point, and you were moving closer towards that? Or you think it just was too... Go ahead.
I think it might have been just too much for him, or maybe he just wasn't sure if, maybe he was still wondering if I was the right person, and maybe this kind of helped him. I don't know if he could handle this, and so I think he went elsewhere so he wouldn't have to.
Okay, so he may have ruptured the relationship deliberately because he couldn't handle it. Now, you want to judge him. You're looking at yourself, I think, with a lot of appropriate empathy, and you want to have that throughout your life. You don't want to have a lot of self-doubts. It's always wonderful to have someone to lean on. Like I do have my husband, and I have other people I could turn to, my sisters. But if I didn't have them, I would hope that I would be able to lean on myself too. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard, but you can journal. You can be your own best friend. That's actually a skill. That's what it's named.
Right.
So you want to be your own best friend now and say, what is best for me moving forward? Is he such a value that if I went back to him and if he could make amends for the affair, assuming he doesn't love her or assuming he loves you more, could we rebuild the relationship? There's a book, After the Affair, by Dr. Janice Abrams Spring that you can get on my website, drkenner.com.
Okay.
You also may decide that he deceived you. On top of his having the first deceit, the affair, he then denied it when you confronted him, which I see as a second deceit. And so there may already be too much damage for you to go back with him. You may always have a question mark, will he cheat again? People do get through affairs, but I would not play the distance or pursuer game, try to chase him down and his running away. There's more than one soulmate for everyone in the world, believe it or not. And so you can also spread your net a little bit. Again, first grieve the loss of your mom. I feel badly about that because it's so hard to lose someone you love, and a mother-daughter relationship is not a wonderful one, is not that common. And then work to find someone who will be there to help you feel safe, grounded, loved, and complete. I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner. Thank you so much for your call. Coming up, we'll be talking about dating, so maybe that will help moving forward.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner.
Emotions can be understood consciously, but only through introspection, by focusing inward on our own mental contents and processes. Subconscious thoughts can be brought into awareness. For example, Bill thinks, Aaron's flirting with my wife and I'm feeling fear. Why? I'm worried she'll divorce me. If Bill had more self-confidence, his reaction might be quite different, such as, I like that my wife is attractive, and she's probably enjoying the attention from Aaron, but that's no threat to me because we deeply value one another and feel worthy of each other's love. Introspection is a learned skill. Without it, you're doomed to feel at the mercy of mysterious, ever-changing emotions. But with practice, you can become very good at it.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy the book at amazon.com.